This is section 9.2, and the title of this section is Using Probability to Find Z. In 9.1, we found how to find the probability by knowing Z. So an example of this question we did in 9.1 was, for example, probability of Z being less than 0.1. In this question, we will work backwards. We will be given a probability for, say, 0.59, and we have to work out what this Z value has to be. And the method is very exactly the same, except it's just done backwards. So let's just make some notes. To find Z using the probability, you can either use the big table backwards or use the table of percentage points of the normal distribution. So you can either use the table backwards, so knowing the probability, work out what Z is, or you can use the table of percentage points, which is on the page afterwards, on the next page. And it looks something like this. Whenever you can, you must use the table of percentage points, as it can be more accurate. The thing you do have to be careful though is that the percentage point is in the opposite form of what we've been working with. So in the big table, remember, we have to always find probability of less than positive form, for example like this. When the table of percentage points is the opposite, it's bigger than positive. Well, actually it doesn't matter what if it's positive or not, but because that's what we're working on, but it needs to be bigger than. So let's go through example 2a. The probability of Z being less than A is 0.7611. What is A? Well, it is in a less than, so when we sketch the graph, the area will be starting from the left. Now how far do we shade in? Because we don't actually know what A is. But we know what the probability is. In fact, it's bigger than half. So the area is going to be bigger than half. So let's just stop somewhere here. And the A is this value, and the total area is 0.7611. So actually this is in a less than positive form. And so we can use this table. In fact, we can only use the big table because this is not a nice percentage. So if you use the table to look up 0.7611, which is 7611 here, remember we're looking at the probability, not the Z value, 0.7611, and the Z value is 0.71. Where are we? Okay. So A equals 0.71. Next question. Probability of Z being bigger than A is 0.01. Okay, again, let's sketch the graph. It's bigger than A this time, so we're going to be finding the area from the right. How much? It's only 0.01. So let's just stop somewhere around here, because it's going to be less than half. Now, the form is bigger than positive form. But that's okay, because this is a nice percentage. So in fact we should use the table of percentage points. So let's look up 0.01 in the table of percentage points. So we want the probability to be 0.01, and we want the corresponding Z value, which is 2.3263. 2.3263. So A equals 2.3263. Sorry, this is the answer to question B. And question C. Again, let's sketch the graph. The probability we want is Z being bigger than A, and it's only 0.0287, so I'm going to stop somewhere around here. Again, this is now in a bigger than positive form, but unfortunately this is not a nice percentage, so we're going to have to use the big table. But first we're going to have to turn it into a less than positive form. So we're going to have to use the 1 minus method. Now we could, as before, say that this is equal to 1 minus the probability of Z less than A. And actually you can work out the area this way. But what I'm going to do instead this time is to say that probability of Z less than A is equal to 1 minus the area of this. So it's actually still 1 minus method, except now we're taking away the probability, which we know as the number, and this will save some time. And this equals 0.9713, and so we just need to look up this table. In the big table, 0.9713. 0.9713 is right here, and I've highlighted it already because I found it before. And so the Z value is 1.90. So A is 0.90. Last question. The probability of Z being less than A is 0.0170. Right, we want the area less than, we want Z to be less than A, so we want to work out the area from the left. And how big is the area? It's only 0.017, so it's going to be left on this side, let's say around here. So we can know immediately that A is a negative number, and so this form must be in a less than negative form. And this is not a nice percentage either, so we're going to have to end up using the big table. So we're going to have to turn it into a less than positive form. Now, as we did before, instead of actually doing something to this, we're going to be changing the probability. And first we're going to use the symmetrical property. If this is A, this is going to be minus A, and say that this area here, which is probability of Z being bigger than minus A, this is same as above, 0.0170. Now we're going to use the 1 minus method. We're going to do 1 minus to the probability, let's say, equals 1 minus 0.0170. Remember, this is just area of this. So to find the area of this is the whole take away this. That means this is equal to 0.9830. So let's look this up now, because this is now in a less than positive form. 9830 is right here, and the corresponding Z value is 2.12. That means minus A equals 2.12. That's right. So what is A? Remember, A was a negative number. So A is minus 2.12. And this is the answer, and this concludes this section of the video. Thank you.